She said he fell off the log because he was walking on the log and he fell and fell his forehead. So he punctured his face with wood sticking up.
Hey Islanders, and welcome to episode 83 of the Camano Voice. Today I speak with the president of the Camano Law Enforcement Support Foundation. Please welcome Ram Prasad. Hi, I'm Brandon Erickson, and you're listening to the Camano Voice podcast, where I interview folks around Camano Island and beyond. If you want to stay up to date on events, businesses, and even hear a little history of this area, subscribe to this podcast and share with your friends. Thanks for listening. Hey Islanders, and welcome to another episode of the Camano Voice, where we release a new episode every Tuesday. I wanted to say thank you again just for listening to the podcast and tuning in every week. I'm enjoying continuing the podcast. If you haven't already, if you could share with your friends just different episodes that you guys like. If you have a favorite episode, send it to your friend and have them check it out. So anyways, again, just trying to grow the podcast. But also, if you have other guest suggestions or anything like that, or just want to say hi, reach out to me, voice@camanocommons.com, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So anyways, back to this episode. So this episode, I got to speak with Ram Prasad, who is, he actually came from India to do for college, and but we hear a little bit about his background in India, and then we hear more about what Camano Law Enforcement Support Foundation does, which I had heard about this organization, and I knew it existed. I just didn't know why it existed. And there was a lot of things that were eye-opening to me that I didn't know going into this episode. So I hope you guys get a lot out of it and find out more about what Camano Law Enforcement Support Foundation does. And so without further ado, here's my conversation with Ram Prasad. Hey Islanders, and welcome to another episode of the Camano Voice. Today I'm here with the president of the Camano Law Enforcement Support Foundation. Welcome to the podcast, Ram Prasad.
Ram Prasad is right. Yes, thank you.
Awesome. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about Ram.
Well, Ram is imported
Okay.
to this country. I came to this country in 1961, September 26 to be exact, to go to a school to do the higher education. And I started my postgraduate PhD program in geography. And then I switched to computer science. And I spent there 4 years because my advisor kept on getting new project from the NASA. And I worked on the NASA project, and we kept on getting more project. And, it kept on ascending, and I was just so tired. 4 years, I still have not finished my, I had thesis to go about 2 more quarters. And it kept on extending, so I said, I'm tired, I'm going to go and look for a job.
Okay.
And so I applied for Boeing Company. 2 weeks later, I got called, and the following day, I was Boeing employee.
Okay.
And ever since, I've been at Boeing with one stint outside Boeing with PACCAR for 7 years.
Okay.
Met a girl there and got married. Then we had 2 children, and that's 52 years later, here I am.
Very cool. So, where did you grow up then?
In India.
Okay.
I was born in a family with good wealth. My grandparents and great-grandparents and my parents, we all inherit from parents.
Okay.
And my parents inherited big landlord. They were landlords.
Okay.
During British Raj.
Okay.
And after a few years, the British Raj was gone, and I was here. And then my parents, along with many, many landlords all over India, they the government of India passed a law that landlordship will be gone by such and such date.
Whoa.
So by 1951, landlordship was gone, and we had lawsuit against government of India, and we lost. So
Wow.
all the lands were taken and given to the people who use the land for agriculture. So we were left with nothing and no compensation. But still, my parents were very well off.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we were poor landlords, but not poor.
Wow.
You
So
know.
so that's crazy. I never knew that happened over there.
That was 1949 through 1951.
Okay.
But I was sent to go to school. I graduated and then had master's degree in geography and came here. And then the rest of the story is 52, 53 years later, I'm still married with the same woman, and we have 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl. The girl is in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
She's a businesswoman. My boy is in Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and he is a businessman. And they're both doing very, very well. I mean, very, very well.
Nice.
No.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And did your parents stay in India then? Did they ever
Yeah.
migrate over?
No.
Okay.
No.
So do you have family and stuff that are still over there?
I have a daughter there from previous marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and her husband is retired. He was a high-ranking managing director of a very large corporation, and he retired. So he's 62,
Mm-hmm.
and I am 82.
Okay.
So, but I'm physically I'm good condition.
Yeah.
This year I have not done, but I have done refereeing for soccer refereeing
Yeah.
for about 32 years.
Okay.
And I can still get back on the field, but I prefer not to. I have been recognized by United States Soccer Federation, and they gave me lifetime membership.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's my personal background, and I accepted this position of where I'm at Camano Life Fund Support Foundation under pressure because the other gentleman who was and is a founder, and he was tired, and I can understand because he started this thing along with few others,
Yeah.
and his name is Earl Barnard,
Okay.
and Jerry Betts, and Larry Comp, and Diana Wallin, and few other who either have moved out of this area or deceased.
Okay.
And most of us are senior citizens.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for younger people who can come and help carry on the responsibility. Because Camano Law Enforcement Support Foundation does good work. Even though we are known to support the law enforcement deputies and rangers,
Yep.
park rangers, actually what our motive is and our mission is to support the citizens of this island.
Mm-hmm.
And we provide the education for safety and security of the people. And we carry on several charitable works, but we are not social, worker,
Yeah.
and we do not do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We do provide cash cards to deputies, and the motive is not for them to just go and give money to those who are either stranded,
Mm-hmm.
because we do have visitors on this island,
Yep.
or the people who are distressed due to whatever reason. Could be domestic violence, could be, any of that sort of things. And we prefer the deputies do not spend lots of time, taking care of them. So they will quickly, what they'll try to do is, take care of them so that they can get back to their normal job. And that's our motive.
Okay.
So that they can do the normal job, taking care of patrolling the street or patrolling the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have given them up to little over $2,000. Each deputy and ranger has a $100 cash card.
Okay.
But the purpose is, like I explained that to you.
Yeah.
And so, that way they just spend, right amount of time that is needed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So when was the is it when people say the acronym, do they just say C.L.E.S.F or do you guys, is there a
there
short
is no
name?
C.L.E.S.F.
Okay.
It's C.L.E.S.F.
C.L.E.S.F. Okay.
Right.
Nice. So when that got started, when did those founders started then?
It's April 2011.
Okay.
Actually, the process has started in February
Okay.
of 2011, and in April they got certified as a 501c3
Okay.
corporation, charitable corporation.
Okay. And what was I know you've talked a little bit about what you guys have done, but what was what was the main motive when they were starting this? What were they kind of thinking
Well,
about?
initially, these people, the founders, they are do-gooders, and they got big heart. I mean, truly big heart, and they wanted to do good to the deputies and rangers.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason was because this county is poor county,
Yeah.
and the county does not have big tax base,
Mm-hmm.
or did not have that big tax base. So deputies needed few things, and they saw that. And when they noticed that they need something that it's difficult to get by, but they do, they did get by. So they thought maybe we can raise some funds and provide those things that needed,
Yeah.
but not provided by the county
Okay.
because of either budget shortage, or they are underfunded or not funded at all. So they thought they will do that.
Yeah.
So they had, their value system was great, and their values was we are dedicated to serve the citizens of Camano Island through the law enforcement agencies. That was their value.
Okay.
And they will thought that we will always do the right thing for those we serve, where openness, honesty, integrity, transparency, and respect remain our bedrock beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they believed in. And we will treat all people with dignity and respect.
Yeah.
Meaning all citizens. So that was their value. And based upon those values, their vision was to promote community support for law enforcement agencies through engagement with citizens on Camano Island. That was the vision, one of the visions. And prioritize public safety, perform in a financially responsible manner to sustain Camano Law Enforcement Support Foundation into the future.
Okay.
So that vision, based upon those values that they had, they developed a mission which really focused on partnership with law enforcement, which is deputies and rangers
Mm-hmm.
of this island, by helping law enforcement agency with funds for equipment, services, and then educate community members in safety and security, foster community services, and well-being of those who are in need, and support volunteer services of the Sheriff's Season Patrol. Season Patrol is really offshoot, or is a volunteer service that the Sheriff's Department has,
Yeah.
which many of the retired folks join that, and their duty is, first and foremost, is to carry the mails to Coopville
Okay.
from Camano Island,
Yeah.
East Precinct to Coopville. That's one of the main. The second main thing is they patrol Camano Island. When most people are asleep, we are awake.
Yeah.
We are moving around in a citizen patrol car, which has police, given, but we are not really law enforcement.
Right.
We are simply volunteers. If we see something of ordinary, really out of ordinary, we cannot really handle that.
Okay.
We call the deputy. We make a call to ICOM, which is where when you call or anybody calls 911, it goes to ICOM, and they will dispatch the deputy. But when we see something out of ordinary, we will stay there at a safe distance and make the call. And when the deputy arrives, he will instruct us either to stay or get away, depending upon the situation.
Okay.
And we will get away. But as long as the situation is warranting that it needs attention,
Yeah.
of the law enforcement, we will stick around.
Yeah. Well, and this is something I've interviewed Luke Plumbeck, who's with the sheriff department, and then I've also interviewed person that used to be a dispatcher. But Luke was saying just how helpful it is to have the extra help from you guys, because he was saying we just don't have enough manpower to cover all of the ground around Camano, and we've got a split force of like Camano and Whidbey. So like Whidbey has a lot more resources and stuff, but they're an hour and a half away. So like he was just saying how helpful it is to have those extra pairs of eyes and have that support.
And here is a couple of examples that I myself encountered. There was one night, it was almost like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the evening. We go to state parks, and we were at the Kama Beach. And we were going on. All of a sudden, it was very windy and blustery day.
Okay.
And the wave was like 2 or 3 feet high. And all of a sudden, I noticed, there is a boat there. It was not big boat. It was a small boat. And that guy was struggling. He was struggling to come shore. So I called the 911 and reported what exactly the situation was. I was kept on watching, like I have said earlier.
Yeah.
And 911 dispatched the rescue team.
Yeah.
But before rescue team arrives, there was the guy at the beach, ranger guy.
Yeah.
He went in the boat and rescued the guy. And when he came on shore, he was cold. So this guy, ranger guy, was prepared. He gave him blanket, to keep him warm, and we left. What happens after that, we do not know. But these are kind of things we report, when we see it. The second time I was there, and we noticed one woman was walking up. How the Kama Beach, from bottom uphill. She was walking up with a young boy, about 8 or 9 year old, and we stopped and said, "Can we help you?" And yes, she said he fell off the log because he was walking on the log, and he fell his forehead.
Oh.
So he punctured his face.
Ow.
With wood sticking up.
Ow.
And so we took him in the car, which we are not supposed to.
Okay.
But the situation was he was bleeding so hard.
Yeah.
He was dripping.
Right.
Even though he has a napkin.
Right.
He put it, but blood was dripping. So we took him to the fire station, Elger Bay. And Elger Bay said they cannot do that, any kind of thing for that kind of situation. So he said, Everett clinic is still open. So it was 10 minutes to 8. And we rushed to Stanwood, which we are not supposed to do.
Right.
But we did it. We took the risk. If something happened, accident or something, we are going to be covered under liability. But it's expensive for county.
Right.
But the boy was taken care of. He had 12 stitches on his face.
Yeah.
And we took him back to the camp at Kama Beach. But those are the things unusual thing that we have encountered.
Yeah.
Couple times in the storm, which I was pretty much aware of, that is a long wind storm.
Yeah.
We were driving. My partner was driving, just sitting patrol, and tree fell right in front of us. Big tree
Yeah.
on East Camano,
Okay.
and he jumped. The car jumped the tree, fallen tree. I mean, it fell another 2 feet. The car would. I mean, the tree would have fallen on the car.
Yeah.
So there is a danger,
Yeah.
and we have to see that. But the procedure calls for, if there is a bad weather, stop everything.
Yeah.
And we did not see that the storm came just all of a sudden, just like that.
Yeah.
So that's the season patrol people do.
Yeah.
That's kind of thing.
Yeah.
Back to Camano law enforcement, we support season patrol.
Mhm.
With be by their uniform, be by anything that is required for them to have, like flashlights and binoculars and talk radio, walkie-talkie.
Yep.
We provide that kind of thing to Citizen Radio because county does not have the money for that kind of thing.
Okay. And is that just for Camano Island
That
County?
is just for Camano.
So
Like-
Whidbey is
No,
self-funded. in
Whidbey
there?
and Whidbey is South Whidbey and North Whidbey. They have season patrol as well, but their season patrol is not as established as we are
Mhm.
because of the foundation which provides all kinds of things to them, and that's the reason.
Okay.
Actually, the presentation that I sent you earlier,
Yeah.
that presentation is made at the request of South Whidbey people.
Okay.
Mr. Bill Thompson. He wanted to establish a 501c3 corporation just like Camano has.
Okay.
And because the pandemic came, the request was made in January. I prepared the presentation for them in February, and February on, what happened,
Yeah.
what the pandemic did, for us. So it's, Camano is blessed with good people
Yep.
and good-hearted people with a vision based upon what they see as their value. And we do lots of, good things for
Yeah.
our citizens.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like we do it for law enforcement, but we really provide good help to law enforcement to serve our citizens.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the case of law enforcement. What they're there for, and what their primary job is to be there to help the citizens, and that is, a lot of times we see it as a, see that in the form of handing out tickets or crimes or things like that. But the whole goal and mission behind it is that it's for the citizens, so that people can live in a normal, we consider a normal life, and we don't live with the chaos and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the funds that we raise, and this year we are hurting for funds, because our biggest fundraising event has been canceled twice. Normal schedule was that we used to hold this in March, April timeframe.
Okay.
We canceled it because in March we started the pandemic.
Yeah.
That we will do it in September. Well, September we were still not in phase 3 or phase 4.
Yep.
So we have postponed it till next year or the following year, which is 2021 April. And doesn't look like we are going to hold another fundraising.
Okay.
So the biggest, I would name Randy Hegel and Marla Hegel
Mm-hmm.
and Olson's.
Yep.
They are so kind, and Randy particularly so community-minded.
Yeah.
He does so much.
Yep.
It's him and Marla who provide the food and beverages and everything for the fundraising that we do, and we charge $40 per ticket, and we have about 70, 80 people, come and, participate in that
Yeah.
fundraising, with Randy providing entertainment as, poker party.
Yeah.
That's his Texas, what do you call that, Texas?
Texas Hold'em.
Texas Hold'em. That's what they call it. I'm not a poker player. So, but we raise about 9,000, and there is a silent auction goes with it, which people from Camano, Stanwood, and the vicinities, businesses, they make the donation of,
Yeah.
not money, but, articles that we put it in the silent auction.
Yeah.
And Sergeant Oxer raises about 3,000 plus.
Okay.
So it's about $9,000 that we raised. We have not, but we missed that this
Right.
last year.
Yeah.
So, but Randy has always been very, very kind. What we have done with the money was purchase a number of things for Camano deputies,
Mm-hmm.
like safe that we purchased that they put their rifles in there,
Yep.
in a safe place. We have purchased a speed monitor that you see it, a station
Around the
here,
island?
here, there, and
Yeah.
everywhere on the island. And we purchased that just recently because that was about 8 years ago. We purchased the first one, and it was rusted because of our surrounding is
Yep.
salt water
Yep.
you know so we had a gentleman who is Gerard Grove, Grohl.
Mm-hmm.
He used to have business in Seattle,
Okay.
and his next door business was auto body.
Okay.
So he took it there, and we have it repainted. I mean, completely scrubbed to bare metal, completely. And he painted that, and we gave him a tax break, I think, that he can use because he is going to charge whatever amount he feels appropriate.
Yeah.
So he painted that, and it still, needs, right now it needs the decal.
Yeah.
And because of the cold weather, we have not really got the decal, so it's sitting there. On that subject, there was a family, Dave and Melody Fanning. They donated $2,500 to buy another speed monitor,
Okay.
and with the condition that they will donate another $2,500 in 2021.
Okay.
Because 2,500 was in the last year,
Yeah.
November. And so we are waiting for another installment of their donation. And then Rick Felici, our sheriff,
Yeah.
he said that remainder he will subsidize that, because he was planning to buy one for North Whidbey and one for South Whidbey.
Okay.
And they don't buy things for Camano Island.
Right.
Because they know that there is a, cash cow, foundation here. So that's the speed monitor. And we have purchased a breathalyzer, one for deputies, no, two for deputies, and one for rangers.
Okay.
And also we have purchased trail cameras because people go on the trail and leave garbage,
Yep.
lots of things, that undesirable things. So deputies and rangers both, they put their, they mount that somewhere where you can, see who is doing it.
Right.
And then we also purchased for them easy long reach grabber.
Yep.
People really appreciate it because the police now, helps
Yeah.
them unlock the car.
Yep.
And really appreciate it. Actually, John Needer, the sergeant, he showed me a thank you note. He says, "See, this is foundation money at work," because people really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And the metal detectors that we purchased for both rangers and the deputies, one each, costing $150 each.
Yeah.
And as recent as cash card, I mentioned that we have, spent about $2,100 to both deputies and the rangers.
Mm-hmm.
And they use it for the reason that we appreciate, I said that we appreciate that. We have a program that started by a family, Bill and Cindy Richards. They started Be Safe, Be Feasible, the yellow vest
Yeah.
that you see people either biking or running or
Yep.
walking. That's provided by us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we give it to deputies or citizen patrol. And when they see someone running or walking without, in the dark or
Yeah.
in the evening, they ask if they would like one. If they like one, they get one.
Okay.
And we have various sizes, for small to medium to large to extra large,
Mm-hmm.
double large, triple large.
Yeah.
You know, because when people are walking,
Yeah.
they are covered with big, jackets.
Right.
So the other program that we have started, it was a brainchild of Mr. Barnard, Earl Barnard. Shop with the Cop,
Mm-hmm.
and that is very very successful community outreach program.
Yeah.
And it started in 2017. Then we did $200 to each deputy
Okay.
with 8 kids or students from both elementary school on this island,
Okay.
4 each. And the deputies took the kids to shopping with parents, of course.
Yeah.
And they bought Christmas present for themselves, and those kids bought also for brother and sister or
Okay.
mom and dad, or whoever they please.
Yeah.
But if the amount exceeds more than $200, deputies are kind enough to put that extra money from their pocket.
Okay.
So we have been doing that thing, 8 kids, 9 kids every year since 2017.
Very cool.
And even though this year, shopping is, the kids did not want to be, nor did the deputy want it to be, close to
Right.
there. So they use Amazon to do the shopping based
Okay.
upon the list they received from the kid
Yeah.
and have it delivered to them. The other thing that I had mentioned earlier, that part of our mission is education.
Yeah.
We have provided safety for women, safety for gun safety classes, and all are attended very well. About 40 to 45 people, 46 people.
Okay.
I was surprised that about 25% of the attendees were kids, like teenagers,
Okay.
like in 14, 13,
Yeah.
12, 16, and majority of those young children were girls. I could not believe that. So that we could not do it this year. This year, my goal was to provide 2 forums. One was on security of child abuse,
Yeah.
sex trafficking, human trafficking.
Yeah.
I started, and I did not know who would give that forum. So I called the Homeland Security Department in Washington, D.C. They gave me referral. He said, yes, you have something that already in your neighborhood, C.L.E.S.F does that. And because C.L.E.S.F is funded by federal grant. So they gave me, and C.L.E.S.F referred me to Mr. Ed Wallace, who is Island County Deputy.
Okay.
Criminal Deputy. And I couldn't believe it, because I could have called Rick Fuleci and he says, help me. But I called Homeland Security in Washington, D.C., but Ed Wallace is not available because he's so busy, because there is only one criminal deputy that they have in Island County because of the budget reasons.
Yeah.
And he works, 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, So finally, I ran into a gentleman by Joel Johnson, and he is from the other side of the slough,
Yeah.
which is a Sandwood, Arlington, Darrington, Marysville. He is an EMT guy,
Yep.
and he is executive director of what do you call that? United Human
Yeah. Hope Unlimited.
Hope Unlimited.
Yeah.
Right. And he referred me to people who live on Camano Island.
Yeah.
Linda Bering.
Yep.
Do you know Linda Bering?
Yeah, I've actually interviewed all 3 of them, the executive board of Hope Unlimited, and they talked all about that, and it was really fascinating.
I just almost fell on the floor right in our own backyard. Linda Bering worked for Homeland Security
Mm-hmm.
for 32 years.
Yep.
She was in charge of human trafficking for Washington, Alaska, Idaho, and Oregon.
Yep.
And the other person is Norma Mitan,
Yep.
and she lives in the same development that where we do. And I just could not believe it.
Yeah.
So we are scheduled for, tomorrow. I had asked you if you can use the upstairs
Mhm.
room for the meeting. That will be the discussion as
Okay.
to how we can proceed with this human trafficking.
Yeah.
Because I want to prevent this kind of thing from happening.
Yeah.
As opposed to go after it happened.
Right.
Because parents, and particularly the children, I mean, they're bored
Yeah.
and they will answer any call. And my concern is I don't want that to happen.
Right.
What happened in Stanwood? Stanwood happened already.
Mhm.
Human trafficking probably is known. Norm Peters,
Okay.
what he did. I'm not going to go in the detail, but, it was awful.
Yeah.
Finally, he got caught. He's in, custody. And the second thing I wanted to do was cyber security.
Yep.
And FBI, I contacted, and they are ready to come here as soon as I say yes. We are ready,
Yeah.
but we can't because of the
Right.
pandemic.
Yep.
So these are the things that we do.
Yeah.
And but this is again not to just help the law enforcement. We do help law enforcement, but our motive is to help our citizens.
Yeah.
And we hope that pandemic will go away sooner than later, and then we can start to do all these things.
Yep.
And we participate in the National Night Out. We are
Mhm.
very active. We participate in the bear and brats that you guys hold here in the
Yeah.
Freedom Park.
Yep.
We have a raffling program going on, which people should know and buy tickets. I would ask them to buy tickets. It's $2 for motorcycle, actually a scooter cycle,
Okay.
at a station at the IGA Plaza,
Yeah.
and a drone, $2 ticket each.
Okay.
And I would like for people to buy as many tickets as they could to help the Camano Law Enforcement Support Foundation.
Yeah.
Because the benefit is immense for this citizen of this island.
Right.
And we have also held, it was a brainchild of one of the founders, Jerry Betts, who thought that we want to appreciate officers or deputies, spouses.
Yeah.
Because these deputies put their lives on the line.
Right.
Every day they are out there. And in Camano, we have appreciated our officers, our deputies. And we held, a rally. And rally was going around with flags and posters and this and that.
Yep.
On the car, we had about 17 cars in a rally, went around the Camano in the evening. But the best thing that we did the year before, not 2020, but 2019, is Officer Appreciations Night, evening. And we invited all the officers and their spouses
Mm-hmm.
from Camano and Stanwood.
Yeah.
And we had about 55, 56 people.
Okay.
And again, thanks to Randy and Marla Hegel,
Yeah.
because they provided the food and drink, and we had a stand-up comedy, and that. And it was a wonderful, wonderful thing,
Nice.
All the rangers and deputies and their spouses
Yeah.
who came. And there was most everybody said, let's do it again. But to do it again has not happened
Right.
because of the pandemic.
Yep.
And Camano Park Rangers and deputies, and particularly Mark. When Mark was sheriff, he really appreciated.
Yeah.
and he gave a bang-up dinner party for all the volunteers at Surinamish
Yeah.
Casino
Yep.
ballroom. And it was, I mean, he just opened his wallet. It was such a fine cuisine, that was served. And he gave a speech how much he has appreciated during his tenure
Yeah.
that Law Enforcement Support Foundation has supported, and all the volunteers that supported his organization.
Yeah.
So that is the story of Camano Law Enforcement Support Foundation. Is there any particular question that you think is appropriate that I missed?
No, I think that was a really good overview. Yeah, I think it's one of those, being the fact that we're Island County, but apart from Island County and separated out, and so there's different budget constraints. There's different things that we have to deal with on Camano that you wouldn't necessarily deal with if you were in a city or if you were had more of those funds available. And so this has been really neat for me because I don't think there was a lot of. I never really truly knew what Camano Law Enforcement Support Foundation was and why it existed, because in my head I was like, well, doesn't the county provide all these things? But it sounds like the county doesn't provide as much as we thought we did.
And county has limited budget.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not that they don't want to.
Oh, for sure.
They don't have it.
Yeah.
No. So we stand up and say, we will do these things.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for the last 10 years now. But we need people to stand up and come and help.
Yeah.
Both physically in person, because people who are running this organization, including myself, cannot really keep on going. Because, like I said, I'm 82-year-old. And I have run an organization like this before. I was chairman of the statewide organization.
Okay.
Of Washington State soccer referee organization.
Yeah.
And I ran that organization for 12 years, from 2003 to 2015.
Okay.
And after that, I retired, and here I am again running another organization again. So I would like to step down, and I would like somebody else, that the young people come in and take over and carry the banner.
Mm-hmm.
So
very cool.
I really thank you for giving the opportunity to explain what Camano Law Enforcement Support Foundation is.
Yeah.
And what we do. And I thank all the citizens who participate in that, and those who would like, I welcome them.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Thank you.
Well, I like to end every podcast with some rapid fire questions. So the first one is, what purchase of $100 or less in the last 3 months have you enjoyed the most?
Well, I said just recently, about 3 days ago, I purchased a lawn and garden sprayer. I think I paid $14.
Okay.
It is worth more than $14. It is worth, to me, it's worth like 50, 60. I don't know what price I can put, but, really enjoyable, very enjoyable.
Nice. All right. Pretend you have a friend coming from out of town. What would their first day look like here?
I think people who come here, they, aside from what we do on the May weekend, the arts and crafts,
yep,
even before that or after that, people come here and they appreciate. I mean, the first time I came here, I said, this is truly a paradise.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I have had a number of conversations with your father.
Yeah.
Because I occupy the house that he built. And
yeah.
You put all the rockery work. And I said, what made you to come to Camano? From Arizona, of course.
Right.
He said it was paradise.
Yep.
And that's where I picked up the word Camano is really truly a paradise.
Yep.
And we came to live here. We from Woodinville. And I said, yeah, just take a look at the Camano. And truly, the first time I came here, and I said, it was really so impressive.
Yeah.
The water is all around. You
Yep.
can see, I mean, you can see up to miles. From my house, we can see all the way to Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, your house, actually, it's your house.
Yeah.
And you grew up in there pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We grew up there for quite a while and then
Yeah.
moved around the island a few other times. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. So it truly is. It is. The visitors who come here, I think right now, there is shortage of houses
Yep.
in Camano Island.
Yeah.
So says Randy. Randy
Yep.
says the same thing. Because we are planning on downsizing.
Okay.
Hopefully soon, because you know how,
Yeah.
upstairs, going
Right.
upstairs, So yes, that's the thing that people really get enchanted.
Yeah.
Come here, visit us.
Yep. Very cool. Who is an interesting or fascinating person in this community that I should interview next?
I have given you, I think I have 3 names that really I got many names.
Okay.
Who I deal with.
Yeah.
Randy Hegel,
Yep.
he would be one. If you have not already, you should.
Yeah.
Chris Christopherson, you know all these people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Wheeler. Do you know Jeff Wheeler?
I've heard the name multiple times.
Fascinating person. Truly fascinating. I mean, he got history. I mean, he can tell you, how the Camano forest there and it used to be there, and all the logging that took place
Yeah.
100 years ago, and all the artifacts that he has discovered, and
Mhm.
it's just sitting in his office.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really truly amazing person, and you can't stop talking. He just can't stop talking. I mean, he's that really, truly fascinating person.
Yeah.
Another one is Jessica McCurdy.
Yes.
The executive chairman, director of the
Camano Chamber?
Chamber, yeah.
Yeah.
Carla Nitske,
Yep.
that's another one. These are the people I know and I deal with.
Yeah.
You already have interviewed, I think, John Ben, the artist, famous artist,
John Ebner?
John Ebner.
Yes. Yeah.
My wife is good friends with his wife,
Yeah.
because they play bridge together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and on the business side, I think it would be good to get some viewpoint from Scott Huntington.
Yeah.
He's the manager, general manager of Plaza
Yeah.
IGA. He would be good. And
All right. Sounds good. All right. And lastly, if you could put a message on a billboard on Camano Island right as you're driving on, what would that say?
well, I thought I said, this is a paradise hidden in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And it is. Put a billboard on that. The hidden paradise in Pacific Northwest with Camano's island picture,
Yeah.
with beaches around the water, surrounded by the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be a good billboard. You can say a number of things about Camano on the billboard.
Yeah.
The paradise hidden in the people are warm, the water is cold. Scenery is just spectacular.
Yeah.
You go outside on the beaches and the trails. I mean, you can spend days here.
Yeah.
In the 2 state parks, plus visiting all the arts and crafts, when they open, of course.
Yep.
And their open house in the Mother's Day weekend.
Yep.
During the Mother's Day weekend, that's tremendous. I mean,
Yeah.
They used to open for only for 2 days. Now they're open
2 weekends.
through the whole weekend,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
And I think I heard that they are thinking about extending that to Monday. But Monday would be closed.
Right. It actually got moved this year.
Yeah.
I forget the exact dates, but it's sometime in, I think it's near end of July, I want to say, maybe June. But they moved it this year, but they said they're going to move it back to Mother's Day starting next year
Yeah.
again. So, yeah. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today.
And thank you. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah.
And off the air.
All right. In one sec. All right. And Islanders, I will talk to you on the next one. Well, a big thank you to Ram Prasad for joining me on the podcast today, and thank you for listening. If you haven't already, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us be found by other Islanders like yourself. And for more information on this episode, you can go to CamanoCommons.com/EP83. That's CamanoCommons.com/EP83. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.